Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. Thank you all the members, all the Patreons. Make sure to subscribe and let's get into it, guys. So we are flying out the Tornado over here, the IDS, the GR1 in this specific variant, and I wanted to talk about upgrades for missiles on these aircraft. Of course, we have three nations that use the Tornado IDS. We have the British, the Germans, and of course the Italians, and all three of them could actually receive an upgrade in missiles. So first of all, let's talk about what are those missiles, and second, we're going to talk about if the Tornado actually deserves something like this, or if it actually needs. Deserve is a weird word to actually say about this, right? The first thing is what missiles they have, starting with the easiest of them all, the Italians. Of course, the Italians with the AV8B+, they already have the AIM-9M, right? So an upgrade to the AIM-9M to the IDS that they use would be a very easy upgrade to do. This would make the Italians actually have a proper IRCCM missile to defend the Tornado. Of course, remember, these aircraft only take 2 missiles, so of course it's something that really does help a little bit with protecting themselves, you know, especially when you get that pesky up tier. You know, as you see over here, we are fighting a lot of F5s, and you will see a lot of 11.0s or even lower. I saw some 10.3s even, and for the most part you will see a lot of those, right? But that's more of a later part of the video. The second aircraft is the Tornado for the British. The British actually, technically, I mean, I never heard of them actually using it in the Tornado, but of course, if the missile exists, and of course if it's an AIM-9, it can be used in the Tornado, which is the Swift variants of the missiles that they have. So they would have the AIM-9L, the Lima, together with a Swift upgrade. The Swift upgrade is basically an upgrade to the older AIM-9Ls to make it a more approachable or on par with the AIM-9M on terms of IRCCM. It would still be the same missile, 30G, same burn time, the same engine, you know, so not smokeless, but at least you would actually have a IRCCM that it's actually comparable to the AIM-9M according to most sources. It's really hard to find what variant or what type of IRCCM they actually use on that missile, but it's basically a modernization package on the original AIM-9L that they had. So that could be added, and it would be a very interesting upgrade if you ask me. And the third one would be for the Germans. The Germans also didn't use the AIM-9M, but they did do an upgrade on the AIM-9Ls that they had as well. It was called the AIM-9LI, or the Li, if you will. Also having the same type of upgrade, not the exact same technology, but the same like type of upgrade of IRCCM as the AIM-9M and as the Swift variant of the AIM-9L for the British, right? So both of them can actually have something that it's the same missile, which the AIM-9M is, you know, it's the same missile as the Lima, but with a better IRCCM, right? So those would make the aircraft a little bit more enjoyable to fly. But then we go for the second part of the video that I wanted to talk about, and that's if it's needed. Well, here we have a problem, guys. The BR on these aircraft, it's not really high. You know, it is high for terms of a general idea of War Thunder, but it doesn't face a lot of up tiers if you're lucky normally. It can face a lot of F-16s and MiG-29s and, you know, 12.3s in general, 12.0s. I mean, apart from the Marineflieger, which is a 11.0 aircraft, but it can face a lot of up tiers. And the AIM-9L for most of the time is already a better missile than most aircraft will already have in these BRs, right? So an F4, a MiG-23, an F5, MiG-21s, all of these aircraft will not have a missile comparable to the AIM-9L. So imagine having a on par missile with the AIM-9M. So it kind of is weird, you know. It's the Tornado the Tornadoes are in a weird position, the same as the A10s are in a weird position, and the same as the later models of the SU-25. What happened when you add an R73 to the later models of the SU-25? Well, they get a higher BR. And if that happens to the A10A, for example, if the A10A receives an AIM-9M, it would actually increase its BR probably. The Tornado is basically the same. You know, it's an aircraft that right now, it is pretty easy to fly normally. From time to time, you will get those battles that it's a little bit harder. And of course, if you try to use it as a fighter, you normally won't get too much success. You know, the objective of this aircraft is to be used as a bomber, interdictor, or a CAS aircraft. And I think the most useful way of using it is in ARB as an interdictor, low-flying bomber, you know. So you just get the bases and RTB, or try to get targets of opportunity with the Limas, right? But that's pretty much it, right? You cannot do anything else beyond that. It's an aircraft that doesn't have a particularly good performance to actually deal with higher tier fighters, right? Which means that you cannot have a higher BR. If he gets a higher BR, it will be worse. And right now, I think, due to the statistics and not being in plans, if I'm not mistaken, of being a change in BR, I'm pretty sure that it doesn't need the A9L LIs or Swifts or A9Ms. You know, it just kind of doesn't need it because of the statistics, because it's an aircraft that already has enough performance to fight what it's fighting. Of course, in later models, maybe we get the GR4, for example, for the British in the future, with better weaponry in the air-to-ground role, for example, or something like that. Then yes, we could see better missiles, because you will already have a higher BR being pulled to it due to the air-to-ground capabilities of it, and due to the tanks that will suffer a little bit more in the lower tiers. So they increase the BR to make sure that it is the top dog of a CAS aircraft, right? So that would make sense, because it would be an 11.7 and 12.0, and then receive an AIM-9M, an AIM-9L Swift, or something like that, right? But beyond that, although I really would want this, I really honestly think it's not really needed. It's sad, but it's kind of my opinion on it. So this is it, guys. Do you think the Tornadoes IDSs, specifically, I'm not talking about the ADV, deserve new missiles or not? Let me know in the comments, and I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe. Okay, guys? So yeah, bye, and yeah, out of fuel.